All right, it's 11:02. We have quorum, and I think we're almost ready to get going. Are we ready, Simon? We are, okay. And are we live? We're live. All right, we're live. Welcome, everyone, to the July 18th Community Planning and Economic Development Standing Committee. I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement that Halifax Regional Municipality is located on Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. I see we have a number of people in the gallery. This, I guess it's still this morning, nearly this afternoon. Just want to say welcome, and please turn off your cell phones like I'm about to do if you have them. And I'm going to ask for approval of the minutes from June 20th, 2024. All right, that's moved by Councillor Purdy, seconded by Councillor Blackburn. All those in favor? All right, that passes. Approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions. Mr. Clerk, are there any further changes to the order of business?
Thank you, Chair. There are no requests received from the Clerk's office for additions or deletions as of this time, though I believe there is a desire to change the order of business if the presenters for item 10.3.1 have not arrived yet. I think they mentioned they would potentially be a little bit closer to 3 o'clock. To 11:30. 11:30.
Okay. I was going to say I was going to have to rearrange my entire schedule for the day. Okay, that's great. So do we need to put that motion on the floor now? And is there someone who can do that? Councillor Purdy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I move that items 11, 12, 13.1.1, 13.1.2, and 13.1.3 be considered prior to item 10.3.1.
Okay, so we are moving up other items while we wait for item 10.3. The presenters for 10.3.1 to arrive. Okay, business arising out of the minutes. Is there any business arising out of the minutes? Nope. Okay, call for declaration of conflict of interests. Are there any conflicts of interest? I see none. There are no motions of reconsideration. There are no motions of rescission. There is no consideration of deferred business, and there are no notices of tabled matters. Correspondence, petitions, and delegations. Mr. Clerk, has there been any correspondence received?
Thank you, Chair. There's been no correspondence received for this meeting to circulate to members of Standing Committee.
All right. Thank you. And are there any petitions to be presented? I see none. And next is presentations, which we've just deferred until the presenters arrive. So with that, I'm going to move to public participation. And we don't have any speakers registered, but if there's anybody here in the gallery that would like to come up and address the committee, you are welcome to do so now. Are there any people in the gallery who are interested in public participation? Nope. And is there anybody interested in coming to speak to the Standing Committee today? I do not see anybody wanting to speak with us today. So with that, we'll look at information items brought forward, which we have none of, and we'll move on to reports, which we have item 13.1.1, update on People, Planet, Prosperity, Halifax's inclusive economic strategy. There is a motion to be put on the floor, and there are staff available to answer questions if anybody on the committee has a question. Somebody want to put the motion on the floor? Thank you, Councillor Blackburn.
I move that the Community Planning and Economic Development Standing Committee forward the staff report dated June 7th, 2024 to Halifax Regional Council for information. I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Outhead. Okay, any questions? There's no presentation unless there's questions. That's what is in the notes here. If you do have questions, you could request a presentation. Okay. Is everybody good? Well, with that, I want to thank Wendy and her team for being here today. I don't know if you have any comments that you'd like to share with us while you're here.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You could.
We have a presentation for you for the next item on the international recruitment.
Okay, wonderful. So with that, all those in favor of item 13.1.1? Okay, against? Nope, that passes. Okay, thank you. So then we'll move on to item 13.1.2. Skilled Talent Recruitment and Retention Strategy Pilot Program. And we have a presentation for this item. I'll invite Wendy and Denise up. Welcome. I think your presentation's all queued up to go,
Good morning.
and the floor is yours.
As I'm just driving the technology here, I may need the clerk's assistance. I may not. Perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Wendy Luther, President and CEO of Halifax Partnership. Robin Webb, the Partnership's Director of Labor Market Development, and I are pleased to present an overview and results of the Halifax National and International Talent Recruitment Pilot Program supported by the Halifax Regional Municipality. As you know, Halifax's inclusive economic strategy for 2022 to 2027, People, Planet, Prosperity, has a long-term vision to build a prosperous, growing Halifax that puts the well-being of people and planet first. It is supported by a quantitative vision of growing Halifax's GDP to $32 billion and its population to 650,000 by 2037. These are ambitious targets that require sustained year-over-year growth. We are focusing on 3 5-year strategic goals to achieve our vision. Number 1, promote and maximize inclusive and sustainable growth. Number 2, attract, retain, and develop talent. And number 3, make Halifax a better place to live, work, and visit. In 2023, Halifax took a significant step towards reaching its population goals. The city added 19,237 new residents last year to reach a population of 493,000. Population growth was led by immigration with more than 16,000 newcomers to Halifax. Our city also continued to attract residents from other Canadian provinces with more than 3,300 people moving here in 2023. And all of this information can be found in great detail on our website through the Halifax Index presented by TD. Unprecedented population growth has put an increased pressure on housing supply in the municipality, as we all know, and to meet current and future demands, we need to develop housing at an increased pace and scale. As you're aware, a major factor impacting housing development and housing development coming on at pace is the shortage of skilled trades workers in the municipality and province. According to the Atlantic Provinces Economic Council, labor shortages are being reported in all sectors throughout the region and at all levels of experience. Construction has experienced one of the largest labor shortages of any industry since the pandemic started. According to BuildForce Canada, roughly 16% of construction workers in Nova Scotia will retire by 2027. The projected rise in labor demands over the near term is likely to exacerbate current market challenges as the need to replace an estimated 5,200 retiring workers. So the numbers are large. The industry will need to recruit an estimated 6,200 additional workers just by 2027 alone. So these are near-term challenges. To help address this issue and reach Halifax's long-term economic and population growth goals, HRM provided funding to Halifax Partnership in April 2023 to develop and implement a one-year skilled talent recruitment and retention strategy pilot program. The pilot program was launched in June 2023 and branded as the Halifax National and International Talent Recruitment Program. The partnership worked collaboratively with the province, industry partners, Destination Canada, and the business community to proactively attract skilled talent to Halifax to meet critical labor needs with a concerted focus on in-demand skills trades in the construction sector. And I will now pass the floor to my colleague, Robin Webb.
Thanks, Wendy. The Halifax National and International Talent Recruitment Pilot began in June of 2023 when a licensed immigration consultant and international recruiter joined the partnership team to support the initiative. The objectives of the pilot were as follows: to identify Halifax employers' skilled labor needs and key markets to target for talent recruitment, identify and meet with more than 1,000 job seekers at national and international recruitment fairs, to streamline and support the recruitment to settlement process for Halifax employers and out-of-province workers, and identify and recommend actions the private sector could take to address employees' housing needs. The partnership developed an international recruitment strategy to educate and support employers in successfully attracting and hiring global talent. Our licensed immigration consultant and international recruiter work directly with local employers and partners to develop job descriptions and recruitment materials and promote job opportunities and promote Halifax to talent. She identified candidates that best matched the job requirements, pre-screened them, and provided employers with a short list to consider for their job openings. She also provided immigration consultation services to guide businesses and candidates through the legal, regulatory, logistical, and settlement aspects of immigration. All participating employers were also consulted regarding housing needs and potential solutions for employees. We proactively reached out to over 500 businesses in Halifax with a focus on construction and development-related businesses, and implemented a skilled trade-focused marketing and communication strategy to engage Halifax employers in the pilot. Halifax employers submitted 35 job postings, some with multiple vacancies, for the partnership to promote to candidates attending national and international job fairs and through digital marketing. From November to December, the partnership's labor market team participated in 5 national and international recruitment fairs in collaboration with industry associations, the Nova Scotia Department of Labour, Skills and Immigration, and Acadian Affairs, regional enterprise networks, and Destination Canada. Our team met thousands of job seekers during this recruitment fairs, identifying a substantial pool of skilled trade workers and other professionals interested in relocating and working in Halifax. We also implemented marketing campaigns to promote Halifax as a place to live and work and to encourage talent to apply for jobs with participating Halifax employers. Marketing and recruitment efforts resulted in over 4,300 applications for job openings with participating employers. The Destination Canada Mobility Forum events, which the partnership has participated in for several years, provide unique and excellent opportunities for cities and provinces to recruit francophone and bilingual international talent. These events are only open to government, economic development organizations, and sector councils. Having a licensed immigration consultant and international recruiter on our team this year allowed us to match candidates to job opportunities in Halifax and support the job seekers and employers through the recruitment and hiring process. This saved employers time, effort, and resources in marketing to national and international talent. It saved them time in pre-screening candidates and navigating the immigration process. Overall, the pilot program was successful in promoting Halifax to national and international talent, specifically those in the construction sector, and generating applications for Halifax job openings. Our team identified 453 potential candidates and interviewed 94 of the most qualified. Of those, 42 were recommended to Halifax employers. As of June 30th, 3 employers had provided job offers to candidates, with 2 being in construction and 1 being in the manufacturing. We have received positive feedback from employers who say this initiative has helped them recruit and pre-qualify talent they wouldn't have had otherwise reached. It also streamlined the international recruitment and immigration process, which made it easier and faster for them to attract, screen, and hire talent. Through the pilot, it was identified that employer readiness to recruit and hire international talent requires additional effort and support to ensure success. Through our ongoing labor market initiatives, the partnership will continue to work with provincial and federal government partners and industry associations to improve employer readiness and support Halifax businesses in recruiting and hiring skilled workers to address labor shortages. Thank you for the opportunity to present the outcomes of the National and International Talent Recruitment Pilot Program. Wendy and I are happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you very much. And sir, I had in my notes that Denise Ryan was presenting, but it's you, Robin, so apologies for that in the introduction. Okay, we have a question here from Councillor Blackburn.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you so much for the update and the presentation. Just out of curiosity, what kind of ideas are you seeing from employers that are wanting to help support their workers' housing needs?
What I can tell you of the people that we met with, they were very curious as to what other employers were doing in this area. There wasn't anybody that stood out that had a solid plan. They knew that this was an issue that was going to be a challenge for new international talent coming, but we offered resources to help them, as well as some examples of things that we had heard that other employers were doing. But I don't think that employers are really there yet. I think they need to start thinking about that. And this pilot really opened their eyes and an opportunity to have these one-on-one frank discussions with employers of what do you have in mind if you do bring people over. And a lot of them were at the stage, well, we don't really know yet. These are things that we have to figure out. So I think more discussion and ongoing consultation with businesses and to keep that dialogue going has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, too, that once they realize that housing could be a barrier to getting employees, I think you're going to see more employers sort of offering that type of service as part of their onboarding as housing support.
And I'll add, if I may, Councillor Blackburn, that some of the larger and the more sophisticated companies with large builds are exploring on-site modular housing for crews that could be moved and repurposed. This is quite commonplace in some places in the world, and companies that are more based in a rural environment are further along. But the question back to HRM that we're beginning to raise with CAO O'Toole are what barriers are there in place to having modular temporary housing in an urban setting?
Yeah.
So there's the obvious power, Halifax water, sewage hookup as one example. But what other regulatory or other barriers could be removed? This is certainly will be accelerated. The need for these solutions will be accelerated for the large builds such as Cogswell coming on stream, the hospital, and we're very mindful of hotels not being overly redirected to house workers, taking them off the market for our tourism economy. So modular is being put to the fore as a potential solution, but we'll need to work very collaboratively with yourselves to make that possible.
Yeah, kind of taking a page out of the oil and gas industry in, up north Alberta. They've been doing this type of thing for years. All right, thank you so much for the detail. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Oathead.
So I have to be me being me. What are the criteria? So this is a pilot, and a pilot usually has criteria that says this is what we try to achieve. And if we don't achieve it, then we scrap the pilot. So when you look at the numbers here, 3 people placed, that's not very exciting. When you look at this from the bigger picture, so this is what we're learning about housing, this is what we're learning about how we need to get employers to change their thinking, all this sort of stuff. There's a lot of work to be done. But when do you make a decision on this? I mean, there's a cost to this, and there has to be a benefit to this. Right now, I think the cost is there. The benefit is questionable because of the 3 positions. But when do you make a decision and say, okay, this is go, no go, first of all, and then secondly, sort of what behind the scenes do you plan to do to try and I think it will happen. What do you do behind the scenes to say, okay, when we see 452 people or whatever, we want 20% hired, we want 50% hired, we want 10% hired. When does this rubber hit the road?
Through the chair, to Councillor Oathead, I'll start, and Robin, please jump in. So, what's top of mind for us is that we, and led by Robin, has been doing similar type of recruitment fairs. Many industry associations also have participated in the past.
Yeah.
And without the accredited immigration consultant and a recruiter, all you can do is promote.
Right.
So when looking at the numbers about the humans landing here in a very short period of time, because the immigration process is lengthy, that when you do not have that accredited professional on the team, all you can do is promote Halifax, Nova Scotia, lifestyle, etc. It is illegal to provide immigration advice or to do the matching between jobs, vacancies, and the talent without that professional piece. So within this pilot, we were able to, you'll see the numbers in terms of promotion, very, very successful promotion.
Yes.
So that was accomplished within the budget envelope and within the effort. What is new here that no one else was doing and was having the credentialed professional to be able to do the matching. Right. So the issue around the final numbers, because you can see the interest is vast, is partially a function of time.
Okay.
So the
You're building a funnel. You're building a funnel.
Yeah, building the funnel. The 3 is as of, we extended the project beyond the year by a couple of months to be able to get some of these to land and have our immigration professional who was on a contract with us provide the advice to make that final match. But we did have to shut that pilot off at some point. So it's a function of time, and it's a function of timeliness in part. So lessons learned, responsiveness of particularly the companies on our end, and their readiness. So from January was when the recruitment and the promotion was largely completed, and now it was very much focused on filtering over 4,000 applications down to who in this pool of 4,000 plus have not only the skills that we need here in Halifax, but also the other elements of their candidacy, for instance, their eligibility for immigration more broadly. So their language capabilities, their their own economic background, their own educational background. So all that filtering was done, as you see in the funnel on the slide.
Yeah.
That takes some time. Then you're interacting with employers who may take
Yes.
a week or time to get back to you. So it's partially the function of time. I think, what we've taken away from promotion without the accreditation,
Yes.
to me, falls flat. And I'm, we absolutely got out there in the past, us and many partners, to promote the Halifax brand and the opportunity, and individuals on the other side follow up on that on their own. Excellent. But in order for it to actually be materially effective in a way that we can see working with real humans who want to come here one by one, you do need that professional accreditation, and this pilot afforded that. So as we work with our partners now to share the learnings, top of the list will be, if you're a construction association and you're serious on matching talent for your members, you need to have this skill set on staff. It is absolutely essential. And because the nature of the Destination Canada fairs, you're only invited to participate if you're a government, a not-for-profit, or sector council. You need to have that person embedded. Independent, for-profit recruiters are not eligible to attend. So that's another nuance to, why don't companies just do this themselves? They do not have access to this type of Government of Canada promoted event. They're just not eligible to be there. So those are some of the lessons learned about where this could go in the future. It's around timeliness on responsiveness for companies, getting more companies and more jobs involved so that if one company is not responsive, we can pivot quickly to others, and having that accredited recruitment professional there to both promote and to be able to do the matching. That's the secret sauce going forward. And for us right now, we see our role as helping other organizations that want to take this on, learn from what we've done here, and embed that into their practice going forward.
No, that's good. No, great explanation. Yeah.
Thank you. Robin, anything to add?
No, I just think that the short duration of the pilot, to have 3 job offers doesn't sound like a big deal, but I think all of us, when in our own lives, business lives, we know how long it takes to actually, once you post a job position, to actually hire is a very long time. So it was a really condensed time, but so 3 was good for that amount of time, and we just started actually at the recruitment fairs in November. So to June,
You just wonder sometimes about the urgency when you see the numbers and the result. And I don't mean from you, but I mean from the sectors. You sometimes wonder, and the same with succession planning, is the urgency really there yet? And that's my background. I experienced that as well. So yeah, no, thank you. This is a great and I wasn't criticizing.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Elhit. You're
Thank you, Chair.
way over time.
Yeah.
Thank you. But that's good, because you were asking a lot of the questions that I had as well. And so I think, what I've heard is that, getting these 3 here, it's really about breaking the barriers that, first of all, needed to be identified, figured out, and we've have done a lot of that work now, so kind of ready to take it to the next stage. A couple of things I'm hearing kind of on the ground is one about, the cost of living here. And I'm wondering if there's any discussion about wages and how we, not only get people here, but then retain them in the province. I've heard of people coming and, landing here and getting in and then, moving to other provinces because we're not seen as an affordable city anymore. And, I'm wondering just, if there's been any discussion about that. And also, we talked a lot about, the job fairs and the recruitment and the identification of candidates and kind of that funnel. And you mentioned a bit about, the readiness on our end with the employers and, working with industry associations. But is there something more to support the businesses in being ready so they don't have that delay or they're ready to move? Do you see that role in the future being through their industry organizations, or do we still have a role to play in that?
Madam Chair, I'll start on the cost of living and pass it over to Robin, specifically on employer readiness, because we have other programs funded and supported by IRCC federally to do that very exercise. So on cost of living, and Robin can add because she was on the ground for some of these fairs this time, as she has been on the past, it is very relative compared to where the individuals are coming from. So when we're recruiting in London, England, and we're recruiting in Paris, France, the cost of housing, as an example, is considerably more expensive there than it is here. But you touch on a very important point around alignment of wages and the cost of living. And do they match? So yes, it's more expensive to live in London, but are these individuals earning more in London than they would earn here? And so, not specifically to the construction sector, but what we've seen during the pandemic in other sectors, IT as an example, that wage gap between here in Nova Scotia, or more broadly the Maritimes, and other parts of Canada and the world has shrunk, because in an environment where many of these workers could work elsewhere from the comfort of their home here in Halifax, it forced Halifax and Nova Scotian employers to increase wages to be more on par with what others were providing. This was particularly obvious in national and multinational companies who had staff and offices across the country. Because as one leader here told me in the tech sector, my staff are asking me, well, I would now like to go and work for the Toronto office. I'm working from home anyway because I know I'm going to get paid more there. So they had to end that practice largely. And I'll ask Robin to comment if the feedback she received on the ground in market. But it is an issue, and we're seeing that in companies that aren't making changes to their salary ranges are having a much harder time in attracting talent, and companies that have increased wages to be, if not on par with what you could get, say, in Alberta in the construction or manufacturing space, getting closer to it, they're having much less of a time attracting talent. It becomes that simple. Over to you, Robin.
That's a great summary of the cost of living. The only thing I would add is that, when we are talking to international talent, we do have to make them aware of our taxation because it is different globally. So we have been, open and honest about that, and so that they're not disappointed when they do come here and then move on to another province. So I wanted to talk about, we do have, to address your other questions that you had, we do have a full-time employer engagement specialist on staff that does promote the Atlantic Immigration Program, the Nova Scotia Nominee Programs, the Francophone Mobility Program, the Global Talent Stream. So it's a combination of both federal and provincial programs that help employers to reach the talent needs, the stream that best suits their needs. This program has been sponsored by the province of Nova Scotia and DACOA for several years, ever since the beginning of the rollout, actually, of the AIP pilot. So we will continue to educate employers as to the different options that are available and encourage them to really get involved. Like when an employer has an immigration or a recruitment strategy, we educate them as to the short term, where you reach out to ISANS and you reach out to Nova Scotia Works and all of our other partners here. And then the medium term, like maybe those programs that you could bring someone in quicker, like the Global Talent Stream or some of the Nova Scotia nominee programs on a temporary foreign worker permit. And then on the more longer term. So the longer term ones should encourage employers to start considering what they need now, 2 years out, so that they're not always in a panic mode. They have a talent pipeline that's being constructed that'll take them out over the years. I think that answers your question.
That does very well. Thank you very much. Appreciate all of that, and it's good to be aware of what's happening, not just within our own organization, but with the agencies that you partner and collaborate with. So thank you. I don't see any further questions. Okay, so with that, Mr. Clerk, I think we can jump back to, oh, the motion needs to be on the floor.
Yes, we do just need to read that motion for the other item.
Is someone able to put that on the floor? Councillor Purdy?
I will, very much so. And I was going to ask about the taxation too, because I know that's quite a consideration here. But I move that the Community Planning and Economic Development Standing Committee forward the staff report dated June 7th, 2024 to Halifax Regional Council for information.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, that passes. Now we can jump back to item, where are we here? I'm jumping around, 10.3.1. The Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center proposal for George Street property acquisition. And I'm going to invite Cody Parker, VP of Operations of the Wolves Lacrosse Association, and Pam Glode DeRoche, Executive Director of the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center, to come forward and present. We do have a PowerPoint presentation, and I also have here on the list Steve Brown, President of Wolves Lacrosse Association, is here to answer questions. So if you're ready. Yes. Yes, Councillor Russell.
Thank you. I was just hoping to be able to address this for a couple of minutes before the presentation, recognizing that I'm not on the committee, but I appreciate the opportunity. This is something that has been talked about and has been worked around in Sackville for a number of years, and we have a group of organizations
Councillor
that have
Russell, I know we did discuss this, but I've been informed by the solicitor and the clerk that we cannot discuss it until the presentation's been made and the motion is on the floor, which I'm hope you can, pardon?
You want me to put the motion on the floor?
Fine. Okay, you can introduce the presentation.
There is no motion.
Okay, so as long as you're not asking any questions and everybody else on the committee is okay, we can give you a couple of minutes to introduce the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Once again, this presentation and this powerhouse group of presenters have been working together for a number of years, and we've looked at a number of options going back over that time, and I'm thrilled to be able to support the presentation and everything that has come forward. This is an exciting opportunity for Lower Sackville and for HRM, and I fully endorse what we are about to receive. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Councillor Russell, for introducing that. And with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to the presenters.
Oh, I think it's me. There you go.
There we go. Sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm Pam Glode DeRoche, for those that do not know me. I am the Executive Director of the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Society, and I think I've been in the chamber a few times, but I appreciate you guys hearing us out today. I'm truly excited to be here today, and thank you for making some allowances for this to happen, and we appreciate that. This is truly exciting. This is something that has certainly been in the works for a while. So just to start, the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center has been doing a lot of review of programs and services for the Friendship Center. We recognized that we needed a few satellite offices. However, we recognize also that, we're in the middle of building a brand new Friendship Center, and we didn't need another full Friendship Center in Sackville, Dartmouth, and hopefully Spryfield. These are some of the goals that we have as the Friendship Center. And I also do a lot of work around 7-generational planning and urban planning in particular, and looking at social infrastructure very differently. And some of that work talks about Indigenous-led projects like this one, but it also works with non-Indigenous organizations. So it truly is a truth and reconciliation project, and that's exactly the approach that I'm taking with this. While the Friendship Center would be, or will be taking the lead on it, there has been some long-standing organizations like the Wolves Lacrosse, who have been in play for 50 years as well, and also Capital Health, who have come forward to actually be part of this project, along with the Thunderbirds. So we're proposing that we access the property in Sackville to actually build a new community hub, one that would provide a satellite office for the Friendship Center, but also hopefully 2 rinks for lacrosse to be played out of, and along with Capital Health having access to space where they can provide programs as well. And one in particular, which Cody can actually touch on, is more around like a medical, not medical center, but certainly for us, healthcare is a big deal. Diabetes, heart disease, all of those things are big in my community, so it is a natural fit for what we're looking to do. Having the space would actually allow us to provide cultural space as well, and programming for the Friendship Center, but also the broader community. So right now we host a Maui Dojik. We're hoping to be able to expand those kinds of activities to the surrounding area of HRM as well. So this could be done throughout the year with that space. Right now we're very limited in space that we can access, and this would actually allow us to do this. We're really excited that we can approach it from a truth and reconciliation lens. If you look at it, we actually, I will say that the architects have worked closely with Steve and the Wolves Lacrosse. This was prior to our Friendship Center having a satellite office there, and with the Capital Health space as well. And so we're really, really excited. We're looking to actually have it, we'll revisit it. We'll actually look to include that space and the space for the Thunderbirds as well. So they'll have a place to practice, and they will have a place to call home, and there will be a small retail space there as well. So really looking at how we deal with social infrastructure very differently, and that we're doing it together and with each other. We're pretty excited to actually offer the space year-round for lacrosse, as we all know that sport in particular continues to grow. And the challenges that I think all lacrosse teams right across this province has been experiencing is access to facility. So we're really hoping that this particular place will allow us to actually grow the sport. It is an Indigenous sport, so it's a great fit for us. We want to help grow it, and it would be offered to surrounding organizations as well. So it truly is a unique space. It's something that I know people probably will think, well, that's kind of an odd thing to do. I actually think it makes perfect sense, and it does follow the truth and reconciliation, and it allows us to work together in a very different way, and create a truly, truly community hub for people. We're pretty excited that, this could be groundbreaking, and hopefully we get, others to see the importance of looking at social infrastructure very differently. Instead of having standalone organizations, we will be together, we will be working together, and we will also be making sure that we have long-term agreements in hand. I just see the Friendship Center up there on the screen, and that's moving, and we have a lot of other exciting projects, and this one here will fit very nicely in the work that we're doing. I'm going to pass it off to Cody, because I know we only have 10 minutes. So Cody, if you wanted to add something, please do.
Awesome. Thank you, Pam. Can you guys hear me there now? Perfect. Yeah, so I could speak a bit to the Nova Scotia Health piece. So Nova Scotia Health recently, to align with their strategic initiatives of more healthcare faster and also accessible community healthcare, they've been looking at various sites for primary healthcare services kind of across the province. And Sackville was identified as a location in one of their recent business cases. So they were looking for plus or minus 13,000 square feet for a chronic disease management clinic with also some other primary healthcare services. It would be a full turnkey site built out from design right to implementation. And as Pam mentioned, we're starting to notice that a lot of these community healthcare facilities are starting to become almost hubs, places people tend to go for sports and recreation or for group rooms and community engagement. They're not so much standalone community health sites as opposed to these strategic hubs which are popping up across the province and are able to address a lot of the needs of the community. So that was where the Nova Scotia Health piece came from. So a letter of intent was actually signed on behalf of Nova Scotia Health, Primary Healthcare, to house this clinic within the facility. Timing is very important, as we know with healthcare. So ideally, this site is stood up in 2 to 3 years for the primary healthcare piece, which is an aggressive timeline and hopefully checking a few boxes in regards to all the items that need to happen. But that's kind of a little bit of the Nova Scotia Health, and then I know Steve might want to speak to more of the Wolves lacrosse piece.
Am I good? Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I don't make these presentations very well. Yeah, well, a lot of people know me. I'm Steve Brown, president of the Wolves Lacrosse Association. I've been involved in lacrosse for over 50 years as a player, coach, and administrator now, and refereed, and did all the aspects of the sport, and have really fell in love with the game. And my passion, as everybody knows, is unmatched by anybody that's been involved in any kind of athletic activity. The Wolves Lacrosse Association, over the last since our inception in 1974, we've had a difficult time finding a place to play, and we have to negotiate, we have to beg and borrow whatever to try and find a facility to take some ice out to allow us to participate. And we're not the only sport. There's a lot of other dry floor activities that are being hampered by the same problem. And when I see our HRM, where I see facilities being built, they're being built for a specific purpose. And we have skateboard parks, we have tennis courts, we have gymnasiums for various activities, we have ice rinks that are strictly for ice activities. And anyway, there's ballparks, there's soccer fields, so every sport's got a place to play, and we need a dedicated venue or a dedicated spot that we can train our athletes, because we are now in the Canada Games, and they need a place to train, and just like other high-level sports. And so that's been my goal. I brought the 2007. An idea of mine was the 2007 Halifax or World Indoor Championships, lacrosse championships that came to Halifax in 2007. That was my idea. I brought the people together. I came to I came to the city. I came to the province, and today that is the landmark for how future championships have been brought forth. So, yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. And I think it's really important to stress the amount of growth that lacrosse has seen as well in the last little while. Certainly, even for the Friendship Center, the access to services is a real need. And the thought of us being able to do things a little bit differently and bringing us all together to do that work really excites me. I actually think that's the way of the future of how we move forward together and not at each other. And I do believe that it allows us to create a very unique community hub that will actually highlight cultural activities, but also bring, everyone in under one roof. So I think it's a really unique opportunity, and we're really hoping if we can get the support of this council committee in particular, then we're going to begin the really, really hard work. And I say that because I know it takes a lot of hard work of detailed business plans and making sure that we have the right architectural drawings, and all those pieces will begin right out of the gate. We have team members lined up waiting to go. We're just hoping that we can get the support of this committee.
All right. Thank you very much for that presentation. Pam, always a visionary and trailblazer. Nice to have you here again. And as much as I love lacrosse, I do just have to say, the champions last night. Halifax Hurricanes. Okay, wonderful rivalry we have with the Wolves. The team to beat. Okay, so with that, I have some questions. I see we have Councillor Outhit on the board here. You can. Oh, sorry. Councillor Blackburn, I missed that you were first on the list. You go ahead.
No worries, and actually, I may not be first on the list. Is this the point in time where I should put, no, okay, this is just questions of clarification, so I will step aside and let others take the lead on this. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Outhit.
Well, thank you. And I've heard a little bit about this over the years as well. And Pam, I expected a much more aggressive ask from you. I mean, gee whiz. You're one of the best sales and marketing people I know. So I guess, but you did say that sort of the early stages. I guess just a little bit more context over what you would like us to do going forward here as the committee. Secondly, what I like about this, and particularly with the tie-in to health, because I was going to actually suggest that you even talked about the library folks a bit, because as multi-purpose and multi-funded as something can be, you want it busy, you want it multi-purpose, and you want all kinds of funding sources. So I think the tie-in with health is fabulous, the tie-in with lacrosse is fabulous, the outreach centers or the satellite centers you mentioned, but I'm just wondering sort of who else you've reached out with. Is there potential for the library, because the one on the Sackville Drive there is getting a little old and very busy. But just sort of tell me a little bit what the next steps are, but certainly this is exciting, and I commend you for trying to make it as multi-purpose as possible.
I certainly can make it a really big ask if you would like, Councillor. But certainly through the chair, through our councillor, I would also like to, this is very unique. And we've got a lot of plans in place. We're going to be doing community engagement first out of the gate, and I think there's all kinds of opportunities that we can be doing for sure. It's really important that we do that community engagement, and we want to take the lead on some of that. Certainly, and we certainly are asking, the committee, our mayor and council, to actually take a look at this. We know, I certainly know the Order 50 to get us to where we need to be. That is one route, but certainly, hoping that, you guys can recommend maybe a bit of a staff report to get this moving. We do know that there's some tight timelines on some of this stuff as well, just because of around Capital Health. We know that they're under very tight timelines, and even for access to services, it's always tight. I know these things take time, but certainly, we're ready to do the work. Engagement will start out of the gate, and who knows who else will come along for the journey. These were just the ones that we brought together really quickly. The Wolves in particular have been this is not new to me neither. So, and of course, my kids have played lacrosse, and I have one who's coaching now. And actually, I think one of my kids played with Cody as well. I don't want to age myself, but I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But certainly, the opportunity to do this and do it in a very holistic way so that it is truly community-driven is really where I'm coming from.
All right.
And that's really important to me. It has to come from the community.
No, that's great and well said. I still have a minute or so. Maggie, put you on the spot since you're here. Does staff need some direction here, or are you going to wait for the public? Would you like us to put some direction forward, or you're going to do that? Okay. All right. I will support that direction. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Austin.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. One of the things about being regional council is sometimes you're looking at things as like, geez, I don't know anything about this. George Street in Sackville, is this, I'm just looking at Google, is this a former elementary school site? And so that's how we come into it. Okay. I'll support whatever Councillor Blackburn has coming. I think the tie-ins here are very obvious from, the work at the Friendship Center, but also I know from talking to Maggie just, what was that, a week or two ago that Tony and I sat down about curling in Dartmouth, and the whole discussion about, we ended up talking about dryland sports too, and, the huge need that's out there. So it is one of those things that there's a clear, I think, municipal partnership here, and I hope we can find a creative way through our surplus property piece, because I think this would tick a lot of boxes.
Great, thank you. I see no more questions on the board. I'm wondering if I can just speak from the chair here for a second. So being a lacrosse mom for oh my gosh, I guess it's been over 10 years since I entered this world, and it's been amazing to watch the sport grow the way it has. I think the Thunderbirds have had a lot to do with that as well, in terms of raising the profile of lacrosse and how amazing it is to go to Scotiabank Centre and see a game there. And I know that there is a lot of demand for off-season facilities to train and practice in. So I just had a question about, given that this is in Sackville, the Wolves are managing it, will this be a regional lacrosse center for all communities and teams to practice and participate in, not an exclusive facility for the Wolves, but the Wolves will be managing? I'm just wondering how that's going to work, because back to, I remember driving in the, darkness over to Grey Arena over in Dartmouth, and it wasn't heated, it was freezing cold. It was a terrible, terrible place to have the kids practicing, but a lot of credit to the Wolves for getting that off-season training and practices going. The learning, I know a lot of that has been initiated through the Wolves, and so you've been real leaders in this field. But just wondering what your vision is for supporting lacrosse as a whole across the municipality.
So I'm just going to throw this. I wouldn't be doing it if it was just specifically for one group. It's just not, it's equal opportunity. Like, we want to make sure that we're supporting the growth of lacrosse, period. I too, like I said, have spent many in the Grey Arena as well, and it is not the most welcoming spot, we'll say. But also, the fact that the Wolves have taken the lead for years. And we just want to make sure that we're supporting the growth of an Indigenous game for everybody to access, and that includes I get so excited now when I see all the young girls playing. You have no idea how excited I get when I see those things. But just the amount of growth in the sport itself has been, it's just been, and I remember the Worlds when they came for lacrosse. We worked it, and it truly helped explode it. But Steve, you may want to add to that as well.
Yeah, like I said, the Wolves Lacrosse Association, and you're completely correct. Our vision as an organization is to grow the game. It doesn't matter where it is. Myself personally, have gone across this province, done in clinics, tri-lacrosses. I think I was one of the first to go to the communities of the Mi'kmaq people to introduce the game down here, where it's very big in Ontario and out west. So that's our vision. We're not going to exclude anybody from using the facility. Like we want all our associations to grow, and like I said, there's no place for us to play in Halifax or even in Nova Scotia. And this type of facility, this hub, will be the first in Eastern Canada. This will be the only one, and hopefully models of future development in sport and recreation and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Thank you, and like some other councillors have said, hello there, Mr. Mayor. It ticks a lot of boxes, and I appreciate the vision here. With that, I'll invite Councillor Blackburn to speak.
All right, thank you very much. So in light of the conversation and the presentation that we've had, I would like to move that the Community Planning and Economic Development Standing Committee recommend that Halifax Regional Council, 1, direct the Chief Administrative Officer to provide a staff report to evaluate and provide options in response to the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Centre request related to 2A George Street in Sackville. I so move. Thank you very much, Councillor Oathit. Yeah, if there's anybody that can make this happen, it's Steve and Pam. I've been involved with the meetings from the idea when this first came to Councillor Russell, and he was kind enough to include me in some of the meetings. And this, as has been mentioned previously, this is a true act of reconciliation. The sport aspect of it is just one piece of it. This is a totally community-led project. It gives the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Centre a presence in the community. There is a very large Indigenous population in the Sackville area, so I can see this being a true community hub for all of Sackville and beyond. There's been incredible support for this project in the community, and just to concentrate on the sport aspect for a brief moment. Wasn't until I got involved with this, learning more about the project and the plan, I didn't realize that the Thunderbirds, they don't even have a place to practice here in Halifax. They have to go out of province to do their practices. So, there's an opportunity there as well to help support that Thunderbirds team and all that they've been able to accomplish in the community. So I ask for your support on this staff report. They'll take a look at the school property. As has been mentioned, yes, this is a former elementary school site, no longer used, and is just waiting for some repurposing, and can't think of a better way to repurpose it than with this project. So I look forward to your support and moving forward on this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments or questions on that? No, I see none. The question's being called. All those in favor? Opposed? That passes. Okay, thank you. Thank you to everyone. Okay. I wonder who are all these guests we have come in and leave before you go? Just there. Are you from behind Wendy there? Where are you guys from?
Liam's out there with from the elections office. Ah, excellent.
Okay. Elections office. You're just dropping in to check out a council meeting or committee meeting. Okay, great. There's Liam. All right, got a lot of drop-in guests coming and going here today. Okay, so look at that, and here we are. guess the folks that are going to be speaking about the Hubbard's Community Plan. So with that, we'll move on to item 13.1.3. There is a motion to be put on the floor, and staff are available to answer any questions on this item. I don't believe there's a presentation.
Thank you, Chair. There is, I'm told, a presentation, but only on request of council. My understanding is one hasn't been requested at this time from standing committee, so up to standing committee if they would like to receive one.
Okay, so if anybody would like to receive the presentation? You've never seen, you would like the presentation? No, I think we've seen it. Oh, yeah, I think we have. Well, I know we have, actually. Okay, so would somebody like to put the motion on the floor to start? All right, Councillor Purdy.
Okay, I move that the Community Planning and Economic Development Standing Committee recommend that Halifax Regional Council direct the Chief Administrative Officer to, 1, consider the proposed active transportation facilities in the Hubbard's Community Plan when A, implementing the Rural Active Transportation Program, and B, identifying potential projects in the multi-year capital plan, and 2, review and consider the Hubbard's Community Plan recommendations pertaining to land use and development when scoping and undertaking the future rural community planning program. So moved.
All right, seconded by Councillor Blackburn. Do we have any questions for staff here? No. Okay. Question? Okay. Question's being called. All those in favor? Okay, that passes. So thank you for coming. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, Anita. And thanks for your patience. Okay, so with that, we have no other motions. We do not have any in-camera business today. Are there any, we don't have any added items. We've already figured that one out. Are there any notices of motion? No notices of motion. Okay, with that, the next meeting will be August 15th. Is that indefinite or is it required? It's an if required. Yeah. You're not alone. Yep, that's if required. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Purdy. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. And we'll see you at the next meeting, or probably sooner than that, because we'll see you. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there's something before then. Okay, thank you.